Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, Bitcoin is gaining strength. It's above 25 again. And that's because people are sick of hearing about bailouts. Today, we have banks bailing out other banks. So, that tells you things are getting pretty desperate for banks. So let's talk about what has happened today, what's going on with Bitcoin, and what to expect. All right. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Bitcoin, slowly but surely trending upwards today. You know, we were hovering around that 24.2, 24.5 mark. Now we have trended above 25, 25.4, right? We are definitely moving in the right direction. Can we touch this previous local high of 26.6? Well, sure. If we got a little bit more short squeeze and a little bit more liquidations and more banks getting bailed out, that'll definitely help. So today was actually a pretty good day for U.S. markets. You can see today was pretty green, right? Pretty green. Why? Because a bank got bailed out? Is that good news? No. But look at this. First Republic Bank, it got so bad for them. First of all, they had a wild ride this week so far, right? One day down 60%, another day up 60%, and then today they were like starting out the day with negative like 30%. It was getting really bad. And guess what? Now you have 11 other banks, including the Fed and the Treasury Department and FDIC, right? They basically got together and forced all these other bigger banks to make deposits in First Republic Bank. This is their solution. So they basically forced Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and JP Morgan. Each will deposit $5 billion. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley will deposit $2.5 billion. Then you have a few smaller banks like PNC, US Bancorp, State Street, Bank of New York Mellon, and what's this other one? Trust? I never heard of that bank. But anyways, you get the point. So basically, they needed money, and I guess the Fed maybe didn't want to print any more money, so they basically rounded up all the major banks out there and said, hey, you have to go deposit some money with First Republic Bank. And I don't know if they guaranteed, maybe FDIC guaranteed these banks like, hey, if you deposit $5 billion, they go under, we're going to cover that, right? I don't know what they worked out behind the scenes. Maybe they are going to cover it. I don't know. But that's $30 billion in total that was deposited, right? So basically, this seems like a bailout, but like a forced bailout, you know, something like that. The Treasury Department, Fed, FDIC, they were all involved with this. So this is how you could tell things are getting desperate for the banks when they have to bail out each other. And you might be wondering, why would, like, if you're Citibank or JP Morgan, why would you want to bail out one of your competitors, right? Well, think about it. It doesn't look good. If one crashes, it doesn't look good for everyone else. So they're pretty much in a situation where they have to bail each other out because if First Republic, which is almost as big as SV Bank, if they go under, well, it's going to cause more fear, and then who knows what's next, right? Another bank will go under, more fear, and then there's bank run everywhere, right? This is what they're trying to prevent, but it shows you how desperate a situation is right now, right? Bitcoin is pumping a little bit more. It's looking good. You know, but here's the thing. When you bail people out, that money has to come from somewhere, right? So here's one. This is just like the Fed balance sheet. You know how the Fed, there's two missions for the Fed, for Chair Powell. Number one is to lower inflation. Number two is actually shed their balance sheet, okay? Because what they've been doing is basically issuing a whole bunch of new money and also buying bonds, junk bonds from companies and banks, right? Because they're trying to save them. And how are they buying those? Well, with basically the fake money they're printing. So think about it that way. Of course, if you could print as much money as you want, you could buy as much assets as you want, right? So it's hard to see because this huge spike in 2020 is so ridiculous. But it's not only that. From 2020 all the way to 2022, you could see the balance sheet of the Fed went from about 4.2 trillion to 9 trillion. Okay, so that's a 5 trillion increase. And then it started coming down again, just slightly, barely noticeable. And then you could see, because of the bailouts with the banks right now, you could see it jumped up about 300 billion last week. 300 billion is a lot of money, but when compared to trillions, it's almost nothing. So you hardly see that little blip, right? But it increased by 300 billion. Where's the money coming from? They're actually loaning out money to the banks right now. The Fed, that is. When they're loaning out the money that the Fed has borrowed themselves, where's the money coming from? Well, that money printer I talked about, right? So it's a vicious cycle right now, which is why Bitcoin is gaining strength. It's not just a US thing, it's worldwide. We're seeing it all over the place. What's happening with Credit Suisse right now, right? Swiss National Bank bailed them out with a $54 billion bailout, right? It's the same thing. Banks are now too big to fail. All the central banks are trying to protect them, right? It's the same story everywhere. But this is why Bitcoin was created. The very reason why Bitcoin was created was because people didn't want to see fake money being printed everywhere and inflation go high and bailouts happen for banks that shouldn't receive bailouts, for banks that should be going under. But they're all rescued, all deemed too big to fail, and it's the vicious cycle on and on. But this is the very reason why Bitcoin was created. And now people are finally getting it, right? During the last 2008 recession, Bitcoin was not around, wasn't created. There was no alternative like Bitcoin, but now there is. Right? So people are turning to Bitcoin. So that's fantastic. And Fidelity picked a awesome time to open up their crypto trading platform, their zero commission Bitcoin and Ethereum trading platform. Awesome stuff, right? So as the market creeps up, as more people want to opt out of the financial system and banks and get into Bitcoin, if they're not on Coinbase already or Binance or Gemini, right? Maybe they trust someone like Fidelity. Much bigger name, much bigger presence, a company that holds trillions of assets, right? Why not choose Fidelity? So this is a perfect timing for them. Although they already opened up for a few clients or beta testing, but now they're opening up for everyone. So could not have come at a better time. And as for Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is gaining strength with all the bank runs and bank FUD and people wanting to opt out, but overall, there's still a lot of charts that show really good things, like coming up from bottom. It happened in 2019. Bitcoin did a 3x before kind of leveling out for a little bit, right? Are we going to get a 3x pushing Bitcoin up to like $40,000? Could happen. RSI is showing Bitcoin is still very low and turning upwards, which is very bullish. You could see there, right? Last few times this has happened. Good things have happened also, right? So as for Bitcoin, I've been arguing the fundamentals have never been better, despite the price being down, not at all-time high. Fundamentals better than ever. The charts look fantastic. And with all the bank fears right now, this is the perfect time to be loading up on Bitcoin or to be entering Bitcoin for the first time or just DCAing, right? this is definitely the time to be in Bitcoin. Ooh, we're still going up. 25.7. 25.7. This could be all the burger talk I was talking about this morning. And I teased that I may have 3 burgers to try tonight. But unfortunately, I lied because I don't have 3 burgers. But we can have more burger chat in the Q&A. But that's not all. That's not all. There's other stuff I want to talk about. Arbitrum is a big thing. Today, they released their airdrop news. A lot of you guys know Arbitrum is the biggest L2 for Ethereum. And they have finally decided to go on the path of decentralization for their governance. So they're creating their DAO. They're airdropping a whole bunch of tokens, right? So over the next, I think the week, you will be getting some ARB tokens if you've been using dApps within the Arbitrum ecosystem, right? The snapshot was actually last month. So there's nothing you could do now to gain more because the snapshot already happened. So just be prepared. You go get it. They're going to airdrop about 12.75% of their total number of tokens. They're keeping about 43% in the DAO treasury for future initiatives. The team gets about 27%. Early investors get about 17-18%. So they're dropping about 12%. And then there's 1% being airdropped to dApp makers, right? So that is what it's happening right now. But Arbitrum is, of course, they're actually huge in terms of TVL. They're at number 4. They're even higher than Polygon, right? So one of the major L2s out there without a token. There's not many projects out there without a token, but they have finally decided they will be releasing it because they want to go the path of decentralization. Of course, that is the right path to be taking, right? So look out for your ARB tokens by the end of next week. All right. And then, of course, Ethereum. L2 is based on Ethereum, right? Ethereum itself, they have set a date. April 12th is when you are able to unstake your ETH from the Beacon chain. A lot of people have been waiting for this. This could be absolutely huge for Ethereum. Because so many people do not stake Ethereum right now because they don't want to be locked in, right? But imagine you could stake and unstake at any given time. It'll be better. It gets rid of the fear, right? So this is also coming. And today we got a lot of AI plays going up, including the Graph, Singularity, right? Fetch, a lot of them are doing well. Graph has nothing to do with AI, but somehow it's being associated with AI plays. That's fine because Graph overall is a nice project. But why did all the AI plays jump up all of a sudden? Well, whenever there's big AI news, that's what happens. Today, Microsoft unveils AI Office Copilot. So now Microsoft is making it easier, or you could argue making people lazier, because now you could tell Office to just do your work for you. That's essentially what it does. I mean, they give you an example, and basically you could tell Copilot, like, hey, you know what? Prepare for my meeting today, right? You don't even have to review the notes. It'll review the notes and just generate a whole bunch of stuff, right? Or you could tell it, hey, write me something that I could email someone else, and I'll just write all this bunch of stuff for you. Like, basically, it's making it so that you don't have to work. You could just do whatever and tell Copilot to generate stuff for you, to generate papers, to generate scripts, or take notes. You could tell it to do anything, basically. I don't know if this is actually a good thing. It's getting to the point where it's almost like, why do you need people, right? This is like slowly getting to the point where we have like Skynet, really, right? Because if ChatGPT and OpenAI become so smart that it can do all these things based on data or pictures, because now it could read pictures, why do you even need humans? You just tell OpenAI to do all this stuff for you, right? Yeah, it's getting wild. It's getting real wild. But this is the reason why AI projects have been going up today because of this big news. But Microsoft is killing it right now. All right. Outside of that, overall market cap went up to 1.1 trillion once again. Fantastic. We're having a good rally. Let's take it. All right, let's do some Q&A. Oh, they actually didn't put me in mute. I know it drives some people crazy when I gulp on stream. All right, let me scroll through here. Jack says, George, I'm pretty sure FDIC will not be insuring crypto as of the 24th of May this year. FDIC never insured crypto. I'm not sure what you're talking about. FDIC only insures money, and only if the bank fails, not if like you get hacked or you get hijacked or something. It's only against bank failures. Just know that, okay? So, yeah, but it has nothing to do with crypto. Interactive. Thank you. Let's see. Bug Zero. Appreciate it, man. Someone asked about Phi. No idea what that is. When ARB token available for exchanges? They said it's going to be about 1 week. So you'll probably get your Arbitrum tokens airdropped in 1 week. I don't know at what price they'll debut, but only about 12% is being airdropped. You know, I love to take like a script, like a transcript of this live chat right now, and ask ChatGPT what it thinks about the people that are chiming in right now. Is there a big options expiration tomorrow? No, it's usually, well, there's option expiration every Friday, but the biggest one is the last Friday of every month, so that would be the 31st. Right, but there is something tomorrow. Hey, we're still going up 25.8 pretty soon. George, if we get rich on this bull run, please don't quit CryptosRUs. Well, Eli, I can't make any promises. I have a goal in mind. Once I hit that goal, I'm pretty satisfied. You know, I'm ambitious, but at some point I'm like, enough is enough, right? Like once you get a certain point, there's just no point to try to make more money, in my opinion. So I probably won't be working as hard or at all after I hit that point. So I can't make any promises, Eli, but I will say I'm still pretty far from it. Oh man, we're about to pump to 26. Ooh, 25.9. 25.9. Stop looking at it. Why? It's exciting. The 5-minute indicators are a little bit high, so I don't know if it has enough to crack 26. and hold. We're getting very, very close. I'm sure liquidations are happening right now. Probably getting a short squeeze. Let's take a look. Let's do the last 30 minutes. Yeah, we got a little bit here. Last 30 minutes, I'd say about 18 million liquidated. Small amount, but still, that's $18 million. JVR, appreciate it. The Korean streamer just got liquidated 150K. That has to be fake money, right? People are saying Bybit is paying him to be liquidated or something. I mean, he just lost $1 million like 2 days ago, and then he just got liquidated 150K. I guess that's, that's part of this 20 million that just happened. I mean, if you're losing $1 million plus with leverage trade per like week, kind of shows you you're not as smart as you think, right? Maybe we could ask ChatGPT what it thinks. I can't get it on here. I got it on Edge. Edge allows me to ask questions, but not on Brave browser. JVR, new member, welcome. How's that DCA account looking? Well, I just had it up yesterday. It was at like minus 36%. I don't think it's changed that much today. A little bit better. A little bit better. Minus 29%. Went up about 4% today. And yesterday, I just DCA'd into Bitcoin. I'm like, you can never go wrong with Bitcoin, right? So looking a little better. BTC dominance is going up like crazy. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. I think a lot of you guys have because, it's obvious Bitcoin is pumping up more recently than alts, right? But today, BNB is having a fantastic day. BNB is up almost 9%. Wow. But you can see on top right here, dominance, BTC dominance is 44.9, almost 45%. At one point, we were at like 42%. And you may be thinking, well, 42, 45, not a big deal. That 3% is an absolutely big deal. So this is the reason why I've said you don't want to give up on Bitcoin. Most people think the only way to make big money is to go 100% in alts, right? And sometimes it works, especially during like peak bull season, But when we're coming up from bottom, Bitcoin generally is the strongest. Troy, you're not stupid, but of course, if hardware wallets were cheaper, more people will get it. But ultimately, I don't think, that's go, revolutionize BTC. What innovation do you think would bring BTC to masses? It's not just one thing. I don't think there's one thing that could come out tomorrow and it's like, okay, the world is going to adopt. It's a lot of little things. And right now, I think the biggest thing is, the generic answer would be education and all that. I think the biggest thing is just user-friendly apps. Okay? I think that's it. If you have really useful apps that people don't even realize that are based on blockchain or Bitcoin as a transaction or Ethereum or whatever, right? You just have really useful apps like, for example, games, or you have financial apps, and you have, wallets and portfolios and everything, right? Like just have it really simple and people don't even realize it. Then just global adoption just happens. So I really think it comes down to that, right? Ease of use. That's a big part of it. Right now, trying to get people to learn how to buy Bitcoin, right, through a new exchange that they're not familiar with. There's a learning curve, especially if you want them to self-custody. There's, of course, learning curve, right? There's a lot of learning curve. To know wallet addresses, to be able to send from one wallet to another, that's a new thing. Using QR codes, new thing, right? So I think it just comes down to creating better apps, and adoption will come. And plus, of course, education and what I do, like learning about the banks and what's happening with them, what's going on with the Fed, stuff like that. That all helps. That all helps. We're just itching to break 26,000. Do you expect the rate hike to be 0, not 25 or 50? I'm expecting it to be 0 next week. With banks failing, wouldn't it be more difficult to cash out if you sold in crypto? The thing is that you're worried about cashing out. The true end game for crypto is not to cash out. The point is not to cash out. The point is to cash in. That people don't want to hold any cash. You want to hold only crypto. That's the end game. Okay, so that's kind of how I focus it. But obviously, in reality, you still need cash. People still need cash at this point. But focusing on the future, it's more like, well, how do I get cash into crypto, not vice versa? Should we move to El Salvador? Why not? If you want to, go ahead. Valentino, I'm glad to hear that. Could the existence of whales be a hindrance to global adoption? Well, of course. They tend to manipulate, but the manipulation is not just one way. Sometimes they manipulate upwards, not just downwards. But, as the whole world adopts, the whale's powers diminishes and decreases over time, right? So it's going to happen. Fed breaks banks and BTC flight to safety. That's exactly what's happening. I mean, I already said my piece about this. How ridiculous is it that the Treasury Department, the Fed, and FDIC has to force other banks to deposit money into this bank just to reassure people, right? This is just a Band-Aid. But what caused First Republic to become so bad in the first place? Just because you got a cash injection doesn't mean that First Republic Bank can just like forget about all its troubles and start spending all this money. No, this is just meant to be like shoring up their liquidity, right? Not to like, it doesn't add to their balance sheet, doesn't add to their gross revenue or profits, right? So it's just absolutely ridiculous that this is happening, and it shows you how desperate they are. Because not all these banks agreed, first of all, because they probably have no choice. They have to. And second of all, they don't want to see other banks fail, because then it's just going to lead to more fear and bank runs, and none of them want to see that. We're so close to breaking 26 again. What do you think about MaxC Exchange forcing vague risk management and verification by making you make a video saying all your personal info? I've never heard that before. Is that something new? I have a MaxC account. I started using them after KuCoin became so restrictive. I didn't know that's part of their KYC. If it's KYC, then I can understand it, but I didn't do that. I still like Phantom. I did mention this morning, Phantom, there's a love and hate relationship with Phantom. Overall, I think they're a great project led by a great leader, but they dump very hard sometimes, and then they pump very hard sometimes. So You got to take the good with the bad. This morning they dumped like 15% for no reason, and now they're probably up a little bit, but still, you know, I think over time they will definitely recover back to their previous highs, but you got to give them time. Wow, we're so close, but probably can't do it during the stream. But it could definitely happen tomorrow, right? If we could break through this previous local high, I gotta zoom out a little bit. You could see we're at this cusp of just breaking up to about 28, 29, 30,000. Tomorrow could be the day. You know, there's nothing here. Look at how far we fell, how fast we fell from basically about 30,000 down to 15,000. But right here, this air gap right here is what I'm looking at. And we're at the cusp of just breaking upwards. We just need a little bit more push. And the banks are definitely helping us make that push right now. So we'll see. Tomorrow or later tonight, we could see some more explosiveness for sure. Yes, Lucas. Yes. Tony says, I stopped opening my wallets. I just review my price in your background. Okay, that works. Sometimes you just don't want to look at it all the time. Right. OpenAI, please write an email that would convince Gary Gensler to resign. That would be funny. That would pump up crypto like crazy if he was forced to resign or he does resign voluntarily. That would be nuts. That would be nuts. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm extremely tired today, but you guys know it's getting ridiculous. Banks are bailing out other banks now or forced to bail out other banks. This does not solve anything. It's only going to just prolong bad banks, really. It's also going to prolong inflation because, you know, where's the money coming from? And this is all leading to more people turning to Bitcoin, which is ultimately what we want. So smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Good night. Bye-bye.